Woohoo! And we are live once again, the four of us, the mod squad, Christmas squad, Hanukkah squad, whatever you want to call us. We're here full of good cheer and year-end fun because we just love to do this live. So we are here. I'll pop up my banner, which is 2025 LinkedIn year in review. We're here and we've got Debbie in the house and we've got Jeff in the house and we've got Kevin in the house. I don't even know if we need to do introductions because everybody knows who we are, right? Can we just jump right in? Can we just jump right in, everybody? And so, well, actually, no, I'll let you introduce yourself just quickly so that everybody does know you. So Debbie, start with you. Quick introduction, who you are, what you do.
Oh, well, I think I'm still Debbie Wemyss. Been on the platform for about 15 years. Been offering LinkedIn and instruction and coaching for about 14 years. And we love what we do. We love the platform, but we try to make it easier for people to navigate, understand, and not get too confused.
Love it. Love it. Jeff, over to you.
I'm Chevy Chase, and you're not. No, I'm kidding. I'm Jeff Young, the LinkedIn guru. Namaste, everybody. I always introduce myself by saying guru. If you look guru up in the dictionary, you see the word teacher. I've been teaching LinkedIn now for 18 years, and boy, are my arms tired. So that's what I do is I teach LinkedIn, and I love to help people be more effective on LinkedIn as well. My focus is usually on job seekers, but I'm open to anybody's questions, and I hope we get some questions in the chat today.
Absolutely. Absolutely. And Kevin.
Yeah, I'm Kevin, and I'm friends of Debbie and Jeff and Gillian. That's the best part about In. That's what I love In is it's a place to find your tribe. It's a place to kind of enjoy things. And it's like on steroids, right? There's no country. There's no territory. You're anywhere you want to be on In. It's why I love it. It's why I've been here and active since 2005. And I help people be better at In. I also help them with resumes and profiles and bios and pretty much any kind of writing if they don't want to fall into what we call personal branding or organizational branding, right? I'll get you there, get that message that comes across. That's what I do. And most importantly, good friends.
I love that. I love that. And I'll just wrap it up. I am Gillian Whitney. And I'm actually spelling my name right today. So my name is Gillian Whitney, and I'm a business book coach and an author visibility strategist. And so I think LinkedIn is the best tool that any author can use to market their book. So let's get stuck in. So Debbie, we're going to say ladies go first, and we're going to just say, out of 2025, you want to lead us off with either something LinkedIn giveth or taketh away.
How much time do we have? No, just
Yeah.
Okay. I'm just going to blanket state. I like about 90% of everything LinkedIn does. For changes, I like them more when they're easier to understand and implement. Thank you, Kevin, for your help on that. And Jeff, you're awesome. It's just building a tribe on LinkedIn is where it's at. And the more IRL, in real life opportunities you can take advantage of, the better. What did they, I don't even want to get started on what they took away. Let me just say that people on the basic membership are going to do themselves a favor to learn every single thing they can about what they can do with the free membership, because little by little, LinkedIn is monetizing, frankly, and they're going to do what they're going to do. But the more you know about navigating and taking advantage of all the options on the membership that's free, the better you're going to be able to find go-arounds, for some of the things that are going to get switched over to being paid options. And I think I'll leave it at that and move on to the next person.
Sounds good. So Jeff, how about over to you?
Well, I think I'll add to that by saying, Debbie, you're absolutely right. Sometimes they charge for it and they really want everybody to buy it. Okay, fine. But I like more than anything else, my favorite thing to do on LinkedIn is show somebody something they didn't know was there.
Yeah.
I get paid every time I hear the words, "Oh, I didn't know I could do that." Okay, and there's a lot of hidden stuff that is there on the free version that people just have not taken advantage of. I mean, the instance of when I look at someone's profile, there is always something new that you could do, that you could add to your profile to enhance it. So easy for me as a teacher to come up with something that they might actually think is a good idea and might actually enhance their visibility, et cetera, on LinkedIn. Now, interestingly enough, that's the key, like you just said, is understanding how to be effective on LinkedIn is the right way to go. And I'm a freebie. I know that there are two, we're split 50-50 on this one. There's two people who pay for it, two people who don't. Okay, but we all approach it differently, and we all have different ideas about how to do it. And that's what the beauty of it is. They're more than anything else. Again, if you don't think of LinkedIn in terms of an ugly sweater or an ugly shirt, okay, but one size does not fit all. Okay, I mean, I've got my ugly shirt on today because I'm kind of out of brand, but I'm still here with Superman on. Okay, so it still works as far as a brand is concerned, and it still works as far as LinkedIn is concerned.
That's great. That's great. How about you, Kevin? Kevin could just pretty much do the whole show by himself.
I wouldn't want to. I wouldn't want to in that sense, because there's so much going on LinkedIn, and not every feature is right for every person, right? I've always tried to put things out, present them, and not say, oh, it's horrible that this is happening, or it's incredible that this is happening, because everybody has a different reason for being on LinkedIn. And there are features that help some people and are useless to others. You don't have to try them all. Always good to check them out. But if it doesn't work for you, you don't have to do it. And I think most people forget that concept. And this has been a really strange year. This 2025 has been LinkedIn's kind of embrace that they hit that $1 billion or that billion member mark, right? And they knew they were going to get pressure for monetization. We always knew that story was coming. And they had to fix a lot of things on LinkedIn, because LinkedIn was built as a platform that was basically your profile was a resume. You had DMs and that was it. There wasn't a lot of other things you could do. It was pretty simple. And they kept building upon it all the way up. And this year was LinkedIn's chance to fix the backbone of LinkedIn. And that's why we had 14 major glitches or 19 major glitches. They were crazy. Every week there was something like it was broken, it wasn't working, it's gone, right? All that kind of panic didn't help LinkedIn in a sense, but they knew they had to get through it. And I'm amazed that they pulled it off as well as they did. I still think, and I've always thought this with LinkedIn, they need to get better at transparency. If you're fixing things, tell people we're fixing this stuff and some things might be broken. Bear with us, right? That way the things that go to help are only going to be the really important ones, right? Everybody else is already informed, and it's so easy for them to do. I hope they start doing it. I don't know if they will, but overall, I'm going to start with one that I really do miss, and that is hashtag pages. Hashtags still have an impact on LinkedIn, and they have an impact outside of LinkedIn, even more so with the old indexing search engines and with AI. AI loves hashtags.
Yeah.
Well, the fact that they took it away from us in the sense of there's no longer a page, people think, well, I probably shouldn't use hashtags. And LinkedIn is a business. So one thing we often forget, we are the product. They took the thought of using hashtags away because hashtags gain control of our feed. And the money on LinkedIn, big piece of the money, is controlling the feed. You got to have your advertisers, you got to have your sponsor stuff. Now you got to have all this boosted stuff. And if people are controlling the feed using hashtags, now I'm losing money as a platform. So I'm going to make it harder for them to imagine hashtags work. They do work. Get back to them, right? Do yourself a favor outside of LinkedIn as well as inside LinkedIn. That's mine.
So can I just kind of follow up and ask you, Kevin, with regards to the hashtags, like, did they still go in the URL? Like they were doing that at one time. Like sometimes the hashtags would be included in the
We
URL.
do that in articles and newsletters.
Okay.
They pull into the URL.
So
On regular posts,
effectively,
they don't.
so effectively, where should we be putting hashtags? You know, like there's nothing worse when you see hashtags within the post, like as people are talking.
That's
Do you
hard to
kind of think at
read.
the bottom?
Yeah, that's what I do. I stack them at the bottom, and I've not been one of those believers that there's a certain amount. But anytime you put too much of anything in something, it starts to look a little trashy, right? So a few that are really, really good, always kind of the best policy. But you'd be amazed if you've got a few that people are following, they will find your content from it inside and outside of LinkedIn.
So so just, you know, to follow up, what hashtags are you using? Just so we know.
I still use Keep Rocking LinkedIn.
Exactly.
Right? New LinkedIn feature, right? And I don't do it as often as I used to, but Kevin D. Turner. So, there's other ones, but those are good ones.
The ones to stick with, in my opinion, Kevin, are the ones that you're doing, branded hashtags.
Mhm.
Okay.
You know, because now, and again, different size, you know, different strokes for different folks. Okay. I normally start every post with 2 hashtags, but there's 2 hashtags on my branded hashtags. Hashtag the LinkedIn Guru that you can see right here. Okay.
Yep.
And then hashtag Guru Good News, because those are still getting me found. And if you want proof, again, just like Kevin says, if you want proof, go out to Google and do a search for hashtag the LinkedIn Guru and see what you find.
Do the same thing in any of your AI programs.
Yep.
And
So is it
content back
indexing?
from them.
Is it indexing your posts then? Is Google indexing is it showing some of your LinkedIn posts then in Google?
It is now, yes. It didn't used to show anything other than the articles and newsletters, you know, from that perspective, but it's now showing sometimes here's a post from me as well.
Okay. That's great. That's great.
So don't stop using them, but find the right ones, like Kevin said.
Right. Okay. That's brilliant. Okay. So I'll take a turn. The thing that I kind of leaned into this year was newsletters, and LinkedIn did some giving and taking. Taking first. First of all, it took away the ability to have the GIF cover, which was kind of sad that went away, because many of us like to, you know, we kind of used our GIFs on our cover of, you know, like sort of that header of our newsletter to kind of gain attention in the news feed, shiny object.
Sparkly.
And it was great. And I'll always remember your robots, Kevin. That was a great one. And some of them have stayed. Like if you kind of got in before it's taken away, you see it and you're like, how do I do that? Well, you can't. It's you know, it's not done. So that was really depressing when they took it away. You can still do GIFs inside your newsletter. So at least, and they took that away for a while, but then they brought that back, which was nice. So at least they kind of threw us a carrot. And then they said, well, here's a new feature. You can now add a video. And that's kind of cool. And I actually finally this week experimented with that, because I wasn't coming to come on this show without having tried that as an experiment. And I can tell you, it was kind of a bit of an epic fail, because while you can upload a video and that video now shows on your post and it shows inside your newsletter, and it will even email out to your subscribers that way. So it's, you know, it's good. It provides context. The thing is that people think it's just a video. They aren't getting that it's an article that they should, you know, and I think that's just the way that LinkedIn sets articles up. It almost looks like the title of the article underneath that video. It almost looks like an ad. It's bad. So I only notice if it's like somebody's brand new article and that subscribe button is lit up. But if you're already subscribed to a newsletter, you probably don't even know, oh, I was supposed to click. So in my opinion, I think give us back the GIFs would be my first thing. Thank you, LinkedIn. Give us back our GIFs. Or redesign that and make it so that it's very clear that this is an article and not just a video. And for heaven's sakes, not an ad. So that's
Can I jump in and tell you why they took the GIFs off the top of the email? GIFs are an executable program, right? you can hide nefarious things inside a GIF that says track anybody who opens this. Look inside, read their emails. You can do a lot of nasty things. You can do a lot of helpful things too in some ways if you're a marketer, but LinkedIn didn't want to deliver that to tens of thousands of millions of their newsletter subscribers and have us do something bad. And so that's why they took it out of there. That was a knee jerk, get it out. And there was a while that we couldn't even add comments and all that kind of stuff. And now you notice when you do add them,
takes longer.
Take a little more time. What they're doing is they're actually running it through code proof, and they're saying, "Oh, take out line number 5, take out line X, make sure it works, then post it if it does," right? And that keeps that nefarious coding from getting out.
Right.
Keeps LinkedIn's people safe. And I think, I respect them for that. But now it's time to get it back into the newsletter because now they know how to take care of it. So
No,
that's right. But that's why they
good.
did it. And yeah.
That's
if
good.
They only told us, right?
Yes. And that actually reminds me of how, they also now put a label. And I think this is a good thing that LinkedIn's doing. They put a label on any kind of post image that they think is generated by AI, and we might want to talk about AI in a minute because that's huge for 2025. But I noticed one of my posts, even though I created the image myself in Canva, because I did one tweak to a graphic and I asked the Canva AI to help me with, changing something, LinkedIn knew and flipped on that little tag that, what is the tag, Kevin, by the way? Can you tell us a little bit about that tag?
Credential. It's credential tag. It's actually through Adobe of all people. But what it is it tells you that this content was created with using certain tools, right?
Right.
The thing is, if you're ever in that situation, you never want it to show up in like your case where you did the majority of the work, take a screenshot and post the screenshot. Tag won't follow the screenshot. That's kind of good and bad to know that, but they're developing ways that you can't do that in the future. But right now, that's the way to get around it. And people who are using a lot of AI created content already know this. They're already doing it. So they're putting stuff out, images out that don't have the little CR credential in the corner, and people think they're real. So, the bad players have broke it already, right? And it kind of impacts the good players where you have them do a small portion and it looks like it did everything for you. So
now it's interesting though, they don't do videos. They like I posted an AI video for this, I didn't get us together and we were dancing and stuff, that was all AI generated.
I forgot.
Oh, yeah, we did. We all got together and practiced for hours to get that right. Come on.
That was at Debbie's house, wasn't it? When she was
Yeah.
But interesting that there was no CR for the videos. And I've done a couple of AI videos, with the pink cowboy hats and me and Tina and whatnot. And so they're fun. And I noticed no tag for those. So that's
coming.
That's
coming. And a lot of them that are really, really, really good, like Sora is one of those.
Right. Yes.
They're trying to put that little
watermark.
Yeah, watermark. Then it floats around a little bit.
Yep.
But it's also really easy to do a Sora video. And then, using something like Snagit, you crop out everything but the logo.
Oh, okay.
And so you're only getting the component that looks real, and the logo is not floating in the zone anymore. So people are already figuring that out as well.
I'd kind of leave it. I always figure if you give us a free tool, I'm going to let them advertise.
I agree, and I agree with exposing. If you do use AI, let people know.
Yeah,
there's nothing wrong with using it as long as you're not just blanketly accepting it. There is that term now that's in Merriam-Webster's dictionary, slop. Or AI slop. And that means that kind of excessive dumping of AI content that makes everybody look really generic, right? It's a total blanding. People are doing it. They run something in there. They go, "Oh, that looks pretty," and they pop it in. That's what drives me crazy. So let's not get into that point of AI slop, but use AI to be a spark. I always say it makes a great muse, but a terrible artist. And it will get you in trouble if you don't pay attention to it.
I love that.
What's interesting here, if I can just interject real quick, we're all teachers, to effect, but I tend to learn a lot from my clients just as well. And if it wasn't for one that brought the credentials thing to my attention, she's created all of her images in Canva forever and always puts an image with every post. And then all of a sudden she got stopped. And because they were thinking she was using all AI. And that's the only reason I started learning about that whole issue of identifying what you're doing and what you're using. So I find that fascinating. I never stop learning from my clients. So
it's good. It's good. So speaking of clients, let's look at our clients who are the people in the audience today. So let's bring them in. And we got Jeff. We got Jeff in the show and in the comments. He's a multitasker. I love it. I love it. So we have Dave here. Hello, all. Hello. So I love the hat. Kevin, we thought you'd turn up with your hat too, and then you'd be a matching set with Dave. So there he goes. He's putting it on. He's putting it on. I love it. I love it. We've got Sue Griffey here. Looking forward to this. We've got Tara here. Hello from Maryland. We've got Teresa. Hello from Florida. So you got some company there, Debbie. Good. Sure. We got Mindy here. Hi, Sue. Nice to see you. I love people chatting with each other in the comments. We got Lynn coming in from Virginia Beach. We've got Mindy. This should be fun. We're hoping it's fun because we're having a good time. We've got LinkedIn user, and we don't have Jeff there to help them in the comments.
Who is he?
I don't know. Hello from Columbus, Ohio. We'll have to go in afterwards because he knows you, and you'll have to tell him how to not be the blank head on LinkedIn. But we're glad you're here. We're glad you're here. We have Dawn Christie. Hello, hey, LinkedIn experts. We got the lovely G coming in, another fellow Texan in the house. She says, hello from North Dallas. Happy Friday and holidays to you. David, like that I called us the squad.
Mod Squad.
I like Mod Squad. We're all of that age. We remember that show. So it's good. Cheers from Brazil. I love it. Okay, so now we're going outside the United States. We're collecting our friends from across the world. So Louise, thank you for being here. We have Lynn. She's still in the United States, and we have John Asperian coming at us from the UK. He's actually coming from Wales. He's watching us on YouTube. And I just want to throw up that I asked John what was I told him I'd give him a shout. I asked John what was his favorite thing, one of his favorite things of 2025. And he said comment impressions, that you can see how many comment impressions. So I just thought I would share that with everybody. And we have Mindy. Hello, excited to see you all. And Debbie, I love that. We got Yolanda here. We have Brenda. Hello from Detroit. I'm so happy to see all these rock stars. And we have Elle. Hi, all. You are all awesome. Thank you. And David is a fellow Texan, so we must shout out that he's got his Santa hat and his cowboy hat. And we've got Carrie. LinkedIn is the only, in all caps, social media that I actually enjoy visiting daily. Okay, so that's nice. That's nice. And then Cindy Key says, great team. Thank you. And we love you, Cindy. Thank you for being here. Daniel Hall is here. He says, all right. And happy holidays to my famous humans. Okay, so with that, I'm going to go ahead and let's pick up again. So Debbie, what's next? What's next for you?
What's next? I'm finally, my team has been into AI for a while. And I always said I was too busy, That's okay. You guys go ahead. I'm too busy. No, we can't do that anymore, Debbie. There's so much AI being implemented into LinkedIn. You don't have to be an expert, but you would do yourself a big favor to at least get familiar. And lately, Kevin, I don't know if you're going to back me up, but lately I've been seeing on LinkedIn, it seems like they are really pushing Copilot as far as what they're going to be doing in the future. So one of my tasks is to pick up and I will compliment LinkedIn because they have a slew of under LinkedIn Learning, which I think is only accessible to premium. But they are really getting into, can you access it to Jeff? The LinkedIn Learning?
Actually, yes, LinkedIn Learning is a package you can get separately by itself. And,
Okay.
and secondly, thank you for mentioning though, Debbie, especially for job seekers, if you have a local library and a library card, you can also go to your local library and access
I
them
love it.
for
I love
free
it.
as well.
That's
And
fantastic.
online. And online.
And
So you
online.
don't even have to go into the library.
Yeah,
If you got a library
that's right.
card, you can
Yeah, I meant
access
go to
it
your
online.
library site.
I love that. That's great because they're going to need it, especially with the changes they've already made to the jobs tab on LinkedIn for how to search. Searching itself is just changing a lot. And Kevin knows a whole lot about that. But that's one of my things that I'm going to be doing over the next week or so. We're supposed to have a little break, right, between Christmas and New Year's. Not happening. I'll still be cranking away. The closer I get to 100% mobility, the busier I'm going to get. But that is going to be one of my priorities, is to get more on top of how helpful it can be. And I'm actually learning right now from a CEO that I'll credit in Boca Raton. He's a wizard. He loves to use it for coming up with comments. And he's just, and he's very well spoken and super smart and all that. But he gets stuck on what to say on comments, and he doesn't want to waste a second of his time. So I've been watching him in our screen share trainings, and he uses chat. And I'm amazed, and he really has it down where he's done so many prompts that it really knows him, and he'll instantly come up with 3 or 4 suggested responses, and he'll say, "Oh, I like that one." Copy paste, and it sounds just like him. So I'm very impressed. A little slow to come up to speed, but I'm going to get there pretty quick now.
That's good. That's good. And I think with AI, probably Kevin can speak best to this, is that AI is not only just in the front of, LinkedIn. LinkedIn seems to really, this was the year they embraced AI, and I think they actually repivoted. They did a pivot and their whole engine is AI based. And Kevin, you've written articles about the natural language, but it's not just using AI, it's LinkedIn using AI. And so we have to be a better product. We have to optimize our profile, and even things like, do we turn off settings for AI? Kevin, can you talk to some of that while we're on the topic of AI?
Whoops.
You're muted.
Somehow you're muted, Kevin.
You're muted.
Your microphone. Nope, now you're muted.
Nope.
Because it shows you as muted.
Yep.
Am I
There we go.
Yeah,
there we go.
Now you're back. You had to turn it off and turn it back on. Sometimes just like settings on LinkedIn.
Do you want to train AI? It all depends. That's a very personal decision. I know Dorothy Dalton, who some of us know, very strong advocate for women, right? And she had to think about it. Do I want to take my voice out of AI and lose a strong advocate for women? Or do I want to train AI to understand the women's perspective? And I think that's brilliant, right? Other things you may or may not want to share for other reasons, because it is going to take what you have and it's going to put it into its knowledge base, and it's going to go from there. Now, I look at AI when it studies. Think of it like the immigrants who came to the United States in the 60s and 70s, and they watched I Love Lucy, right? They learned to speak English. Watching I Love Lucy was a big thing. I caramba, we can't now credit that to Bart Simpson anymore. That was, they were right? But they learned from that. Now, did they run around talking like that? They didn't repeat the sentences, but they had some phrases that went forward. That's really what AI is doing, is it's learning, how do we put together those sentences? How does it make sense? How do the knowledge? It's not technically stealing your knowledge and putting it into place and repeating your words, but it is bringing it in as a cumulative knowledge base of its own, much like when we do our own research and then we write something. We're not technically copying and pasting from stuff we saw, hopefully, right? Unless we, show that we did that. We're then kind of taking all that knowledge and putting it into an answer. That's what AI is trying to do in its process. So that's a personal decision if you want to train it or not.
Can I give you a little bit of personal experience from my perspective as well? Okay, I've had that setting off forever. I mean, ever since I heard originally you think about it from you, Kevin, I ended up turning it off because I do not want LinkedIn to use my profile and all of the other comments that I make and all that jazz to necessarily train their AI. But I need to say this as well. That does not keep LinkedIn from knowing who you are and figuring out what you are.
Or any of the other AIs.
Yeah,
Exactly. I mean, the whole backbone engine of AI is still going to figure out what you do and how you do it, and then give you things based on that, which is a good thing. There's nothing wrong with that at all. Okay. My other experience with AI this year as well was especially with the natural language search, for example, on the homepage of LinkedIn. Okay, isn't that only a premium? Okay.
On the homepage, yes.
Okay,
it's supposed to be premium.
Okay,
Yes.
so I'm never going to see it, so I can't take advantage of that one. Okay,
Unless you're in job search.
but
That's the same vehicle, right? And job search is the same vehicle.
yes, but that's the one. That's the one I was going to mention. Inside of the jobs tab, there is also another AI, which is beta. I think it's still beta. Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, because it's been going on for quite a while, and they're still testing that. And I've tested that, and some of that does really work. It's great. It's great.
And they give you the option to go back to the old one if you don't like it, right?
Exactly. And
They don't
that's
do that
another thing.
in the premium on the front end.
What
They
I've
don't have the I'd like to go back.
Yeah, exactly. And I want the choice, okay? Because of the fact that since it's beta and I've actually pounded on it a little bit, I've discovered there are certain things that don't work with it yet, okay? For example, one of my favorite things on LinkedIn to tell a job seeker is that, by the way, there are verified jobs out there as opposed to non-verified jobs, and you can filter for those jobs. Unfortunately, the AI search does not allow that to work. I have not been able to get that to work yet. So maybe they'll fix that. That's probably some of the feedback they'll get from the beta, okay, because of the fact that, it needs to be able to do that, though, because that's an important factor of, as a job seeker, finding the jobs that are real jobs instead of those fake jobs that somebody's put out there from a recruiting perspective. But I totally agree with Kevin, and I love his phrase of, it's a great muse, but it's a terrible artist. And so I have not used AI for forever, in terms of what I put out there, in terms of what I put out there as far as posts is concerned, in terms of what I put out there as far as comments is concerned. I want people to hear my voice, and that right now is the only way I can assure that is my voice out there. And by the way, AI can't do GIFs. I mean,
Not yet.
Not yet.
Yeah, maybe they'll get there. But
that'll make your day, Jeff. That'll make your day when that happens.
Yeah, exactly.
And it's funny, if I can say this, I don't remember if anybody remembered what Google was like when it first came out.
Yeah.
You put keywords in, and you'd put commas, and then he said, oh, you don't need commas, just throw a bunch of keywords in the box and we'll sort it out. And then this new system came out, was called Ask Jeeves.
Yeah.
You remember Ask Jeeves? And you said it in a sentence, right? And Jeeves, just like Google is doing, it's putting it back into Boolean language inside its own system and working from there. But that's what LinkedIn is going through. Jeeves was kind of crummy at first, and then it was brilliant. And then I can't remember where it went from there, but now all search engines are using natural language and have for about 4 or 5 years at least, and we don't even think about it. So some of it is the system is training, but it's also training us. And we're getting better at asking natural language questions that really get us what we want. And sometimes it's like what Jeff's saying, when you see something missing, re-ask that question and put what's missing in there, and you'll get to where you need to be.
Yeah.
And so I like it in that sense.
Absolutely. So just to clarify before we move on to another topic, with the AI, with your personal settings for your own LinkedIn profile, that is on by default unless you turn it off. So LinkedIn is assuming you're all in on feeding their AI engine. But if you turn it off, you're not necessarily penalized from being indexed in ChatGPT and other things, because we're all kind of hearing that that's what we all want to do. Before, we used to all try to optimize ourselves everywhere for Google. Now it's also for the AI tools as well. So that doesn't hurt us to turn that off. And
I would caution that with one thing, and this is
Okay.
where you have to make the decision. What do you give up? What do you get? Right?
Mhm.
We know kind of what we give up. What you get if you do participate in it is discoverability. If you want to be known as the book expert, right? But you told them, don't look at me. I'm over here. Don't use me to train. When somebody puts into that natural language box, I need a book expert. Guess who won't be in the book expert results? Or you might be farther down the process because you asked, don't train on me, right? So it's a little bit of that. So you got to think about it. And that was what changed Dorothy Dalton's approach. She wanted to have her voice considered. She wanted to be found for what she believes and what she's striving to do. So,
but don't forget, though, you could go back to where we were before, and you might be able to make up for some of that with a hashtag or something along those lines, as an example, right? So
that's all that balance in
one
there.
way to skin a cat.
Yeah.
Right.
Can I ask a question?
Okay.
And I know I'm asking this on behalf of at least a few people that are in on this call, because they started throwing around the phrase natural language right from the very beginning. And the first few times I saw it, I read it and I just went, whatever. And I went on, for the benefit of people that may not be familiar yet, what's a Reader's Digest version of an explanation of what natural language is?
We'll let you answer it, Kevin.
You put it in a sentence, right? If you walked into a networking room, you don't yell out recruiters, retained, and they show up, right? You say, hey, I'm looking for a retained recruiter as you move through the room. So that's really what you're doing is you're moving through the room. That's the database of LinkedIn, and you're guiding it. So you're going to use natural language. You don't just blurt out those keywords like we used to. Now it's going to be more of that flow as if you were talking to a human on the other side, which it's not.
Like it's a sentence.
Yes,
or a
exactly.
request.
That's all natural language is. It's just the way we normally talk to those we know.
Awesome. Thank you.
Yep. Yep. Okay. So I'm gonna show a couple more comments. Okay. So G says, as someone who's had premium a majority of the time since 2012 and reverted back to free last month, I will say I don't miss premium. Unlike LinkedIn forces some form of payment, I'm content with where I'm at as there is a lot we can do with it. So that's really good. That's really good. And we've had, lives and, whatever articles and whatever we've talked about. You can do still so much on the free plan, but there are bells and whistles on premium. And I think, even the fact, like even just talking about that premium is like, when premium hit business pages, we're just like, what? Like nobody even ever, pays attention to business pages, and now they're charging business pages. So it's like LinkedIn's all in on premium. And I think we're going to see a lot more features that kind of come out saying, as a free person, everywhere I look, it's like there's like a little guy that almost is popping in and saying, time to upgrade, right, Jeff? Like with everything you do. And like when that LinkedIn video came out yesterday, that showed all, it was like kind of the unwrapped for the year. I expected at the very end for a little ad to pop up, and if you want to know who you interacted with the most, Gillian, upgrade to premium. Yeah. And then Jeff Young would have been a blur.
They could have done that. As soon as you clicked on that, they'd say, this is a premium only feature.
Yeah.
You'd like to unlock it.
It's okay, Gillian. Jeff Young is a blur most of the time anyway.
I love it.
I'm glad that they actually did. That was one of the things I actually enjoyed was seeing the LinkedIn in review and seeing that it was free to everybody. Although I got to tell you that one of the things that bothers me a little bit about that LinkedIn in review is that I don't know anybody who wasn't in the top 5%. I don't know anybody who wasn't a seasoned professional.
And a catalyst.
And John Asperian posted about that.
I have to say, I know a couple of what they call amplifiers. Amplifiers are not catalysts. Catalysts post about things, right? And they cultivate.
They're content creators.
An amplifier comments, reacts, and reshares others' content, and they're less likely to post. So when they get their year in review, they're not posting about themselves. They're joining the conversation on the other people who did the year in review. So there is amplifiers, and there are actually two other categories, in my understanding, but my innies wouldn't tell me what they were. They said, go find them. Really nice. The other thing is the 344 days, right?
Mm.
You had a mobile app, you were probably on every single day, even Christmas or any other holiday. You probably had it on and they counted it as on. They capped it at 344.
Mm.
They also capped the percentage at 5%. So if you got those two numbers, you probably had more days than that, and you probably had a lower percentage than 5%.
Yeah.
They did it just like we do 500 plus connections on our profile.
Right.
Because when they didn't do that, there was a horsepower race, right? My network is bigger than your network. Look. And people raced to 30,000 and they dead ended. LinkedIn's trying not to make this a competition. Like, I'm in the 1%, you are 2. That's horrible. Right. And so they capped it at 5 because, believe it or not, what does that come out to be? Like 700 million or something like that, or I don't know what the numbers are. I can't do math.
Yeah.
But it's a small enough, or 700,000. It's a small enough number that they don't need to break that down farther to create a friction point, right?
Right.
And that's why they capped them. So, I saw that immediately when it came out because I was noticing them all. They're all hitting that number and not going further, but I knew I had more than those numbers.
Yeah.
So that's why they did it.
Yeah.
And I think that's a good thing, but they could have mentioned it.
They could have been more transparent about it. We talked about this before, right? Yeah.
It's the transparency thing.
Just that little asterisk and say, these are capped numbers.
Right.
I like the fact that they don't want to concentrate on numbers. They don't want to make it a numbers game. They want to make it a networking game, which is exactly right. But one of the things that I liked most about that LinkedIn year in review is that I could do my own calculations about the number of posts, knowing the number of posts I did, knowing the number of comments that I got, knowing all that kind of stuff. And I can look at myself and go, hey, that's pretty good. I did pretty good this year, right? So I'm in the top 5%. I'm a seasoned professional and I'm a catalyst, but I only did 55 posts this year, folks. 55 posts. That's all I did. And I bet that's less than everybody else on this call. Okay.
Yep.
But with 55 posts, I did
that in 1 week.
not that many less than myself.
I saw yours. Yours is about double that. So it's about 100 or so. Which
that for most people in that category, that's kind of low.
That's pretty small. That's exactly right. That's really small. Right? But the coolest part about this is that I can do my own calculations and I can go, okay, 55 posts and this many comments. And with the number that they gave me as far as comments is concerned, I can do an average and go, my gosh, I got 72 comments per post. I love that number, okay, because that means I'm getting the engagement that I was after in the first place, right? That's really what it's all about to me.
I was happy to see that I gave more than I got.
Me too.
And most people were bragging the other way. Look how many comments I got, but you only gave how many reposts I got, but you only gave that. So givers get, right? And I think people should recognize that in that process.
That's true. So Brenda says Kevin's slip about dollars to members is probably not too far off what drives LinkedIn, which is dollars. And I noticed they even slipped in. When I watched your video, Kevin, I went, oh, you have premium screens. Like you had some extra screens in your thing that I didn't have.
It made it all worth it.
Yeah, because it's like because Kevin doesn't have his LinkedIn profile say that he's premium. He decided verified was a better credential than being was more important. So it's just like maybe a lot of people went, oh, I didn't know Kevin was premium. So
anybody can buy a badge, right? Not everybody can be verified. So that to me is more important. I'm trying to get LinkedIn to make a gold verified badge, right? Yes. Make a little shield and put verified on it, and then I'm premium verified. That's what they need to do that because the way they've set that little area up, they can only show one of those as you move throughout LinkedIn. Bad design, but work with your design, load a premium verified.
Yep. And we got people saying, yes, be more transparent and forthcoming, 100% transparency. Everybody is agreeing on that. We do miss the hashtags page. Yeah, because it was like a really great way for you to go in and you could see it was a really nice, it was, speaking as the book person here, I loved it because it was like a little library for your posts, so it was just kind of such a cool thing.
You can still search for them, and then you can still save that bookmark so that you can get back to them anytime you want. So
but it was neat too to know how many people were actually officially following the hashtag as well.
Yes.
It gave that number, and that kind of like was nice because you saw the momentum that would build, much like subscribers to the newsletter, right? So it was a nice feature. But again, they don't want us to do that because they lose control.
Right.
Yep. And so we have Sue Griffey who says, happy that Kevin said to use hashtags beyond the search it gives us. They are also great for taglines and takeaways to help make us memorable. And
if I had pom-poms, I'd
we'd be here for Sue with our cheers, with our pom-poms, at the ready. And Dave just said an amount, and I think we clarified that we just kind of said, seasonal, like seasoning, just lightly, just a couple. There's no solid rules, but I would not go personally beyond 3. And there's nothing worse than seeing a wall, like when people put like, oh my gosh, it's like Instagram.
Can we mention that word seasoned pro? That is, to me, that was the most frustrating thing about the year in review, because that is coded for ageism. That's coded for old. Because everybody 10 years ago in resumes said, seasoned. And the new people are like, you can't use that anymore. What kind of seasoning are you? I'm white pepper with a little more saltiness lately.
Many recruiters cringe at the word seasoned, to believe me.
Yeah, and writers cringe at that word too. I mean, if you're writing resumes, that's the first thing you get that out, get responsible for out.
I made a joke.
That is the word mature.
There it is. Yeah. I made a joke with one of our good friends, Mindy Stern, earlier this morning. She said, what seasoning are you? I'm kind of salty. And I'm going, look, at my age, it has to be salt and pepper. I'm afraid it just
I can't remember. Somebody told me paprika because they like the way it sounds. I thought that's kind of cool. I like that too.
With a white beard, though.
I'm voting for cinnamon.
There it is.
Cinnamon's a nice one.
It's a nice spice. It's a nice spice. So okay, so with 2026 and what we've kind of learned from 2026, I would say age of AI, that was really big on LinkedIn. It's definitely the year of premium. So it's like LinkedIn has become a pay to play model, but we can still, free people don't give up. There are still ways you can learn, you can do stuff. There's workarounds. So it's not like, okay, if I can't afford it, I'm going to go take my eggs and leave and whatever. I don't know why you would have eggs, but anyways, you take all your toys and go home. So
I think LinkedIn's finding a balance, right? It took too much away from basic, from freemium, as we might call it. They took too much away to pad premium instead of build premium to a bigger value. They've felt the heat, believe it or not. And I've talked to a few people in the product group. They feel that heat constantly. And that's why you're not seeing so much of that right now, in the sense of those things disappearing. I don't know if they'll come back ever. Let's hope. But they're making enough momentum on the premium value side that they don't need to steal off from freemium. So I think they realize that LinkedIn as a microcosm, it represents the whole world. Not everybody can afford to pay. Not everybody wants to pay, right? And if they want to be able to sell that data to recruiters, to marketers, whatever it is, they want everybody, not just a type, but everybody.
Well, they're going to get.
I think where they're noticing the balance, because it will chase people away.
Yeah.
Well, they're going to get $18 billion in revenue this year, so they're doing something right. I mean, that's not the point. But I think
it's like $18 billion more than I'm getting.
Well, me too. What really amazes me is that LinkedIn is doing that. They're still growing. They're still making money. They're still satisfying their shareholders and all that kind of good stuff. And they're doing it with about 10% of the people who are actually on LinkedIn that are buying it.
Yeah.
Only about
I think it's even lower than 10%.
Actually pay for LinkedIn. Yeah. So that number's probably got some potential of getting bigger, even without them taking anything away from the free.
Yeah, and I've always wondered, why can't LinkedIn, especially for job hunters, like this is where my heart goes out to, because career, you can buy career, but even that's not cheap, and you don't get a lot of the kind of bells and whistles that you do with premium.
Right.
But I just go, I wonder with job hunters, like they're struggling. Why can't we have like a Hulu version where it's like maybe you get LinkedIn with ads, like you can kind of, have LinkedIn, but you're just gonna every 5 minutes you'll see an ad or something weird, but like just a way to make it more accessible. Because didn't the interview prep go away? Was that one of the things that went away?
Yes, it did.
And
so
that-
replaced by AI
certain
interview prep for premium only.
and certain resume builder.
Different deal altogether.
Resume builder is another takeaway.
And that just seemed cruel to kind of, job seekers kick somebody when they're down, give them something. So
And that was an excellent tool.
it was. And I love to tell people to use it for video, to just get more comfortable on camera.
Right.
It was like kind of a baked in thing I always talked about. So that was really sad. That was sad. So knowing what we know of like 2025, we'll start with you, Debbie. Do we have like a wish list or a prediction, can be either or, of kind of like, what would you like to see in 2026, wish list or prediction?
Okay, so one word for wish list is what everybody else is saying already, transparency. But prediction, I'm absolutely sold. And I think it's a fact that, and anybody can do this, whether they're on a paid membership or not, the more consistent you get with engagement, with comments on posts, and the more you focus on being consistent with just jumping on the platform and engaging with posts in a different way, make sure you're reading the thread. And I think I learned that from Jeff, because there's a real wealth of knowledge and ideas and suggestions. If a post is really gaining traction and there's a bunch of people commenting, don't just comment and run. Read through the comments, because there are gems in there, trust me. And I think the more that people get adapted to the idea of focusing, and I don't even care if they're posting 3 times a week or whatever, if you're active enough to get on and engage with your feed and focus on those comments and making them sentences to add value, I really think those people are going to see a rise in their visibility and search appearances and everything else. And again, they can do that whether they're on free or paid.
Brilliant. Jeff, same question to you.
Well, that's a great one, Debbie, because to piggyback on top of that one of the things that I did this year on a consistent basis as much as I could is that I also commented on my own post, but I commented with something called a bonus tip for all those people who actually read all the comments. So I gave them more value if they were willing to read more of my comments, right? So the more people that did that, the better off they would be. For me, to finish this off and talk about, wish list prediction, one of the things that I hope LinkedIn does this next year as well as they did this year is not go into that way big, normal, high number of changes stratosphere. In 2024, there were 250 changes. There's about 100 less changes this year, which gives them time to actually focus on fixing what was needed to be fixed in the first place. And I think that is a good thing. And I hope and I wish that they will do that again next year, because it's already very complex. As a teacher, I'm having a very tough time teaching people some things that I can't do and some things that they can't do because they've got a different version than I do. So give it a little time to, so from a wish list standpoint, my wish list is allow people to catch up a little bit and understand a little bit more about how to be effective on the platform. I'll help with that. That's why I'm here. Okay. And so that's my wish list. And my prediction is we're going to have more of the same kinds of things as we had this year. And I hope that's true as far as changes is concerned as well.
Okay. And then we'll ask LinkedIn to give you pinned comments back again so that you pin your bonus tip. That would be.
There we go. Yep. I can easily pin it each time. Yep.
I love it. Love it. Okay.
That was
Over to
the
you.
most brilliant feature that they took away for the wrong reason.
Yep. Exactly.
You know why they took it away?
They
were
said people
misusing
were abusing it.
Yes, they were
Like,
misusing
believe
it.
it or not, if Jeff was pinning that up there and he had a link in there, they thought that was abuse because he's taking his comment, putting above everybody else, when really you're putting it there to help service your
Audience.
visitors, right? I
Yep.
mean, that's really important to do, especially as things get so pushed down in the process. People don't find those links, and they thought that was a bad thing. That was people abusing it. That you were only supposed to pick somebody else's comment and pin it to the top,
Oh, wow.
not your own. And that
Interesting.
was never a rule. And they could have coded that in where you couldn't pin your own comment. You could only pin somebody else. So I would actually have to say, hey, Jeff, what do you want to put as your bonus? And I'll comment for you, and then you can pin it.
Yeah.
That's how it would work. But
Yeah.
Yeah, you're right. That got to be such a feature that I liked so much that I actually ended up building a workaround for it. Okay,
Yeah.
so that you could actually take a link from a comment and then post it separately and pin it that way, right? But,
Crazy, isn't it?
yeah, but it's too much of a hassle to do that every time.
Yeah. So Kevin, what's your wish list or prediction or both?
I think the biggest one is going to be the incorporation of AI agents. Now we've got AI going on right now, but it's kind of dumb working from the data there. But this would be like if you were a job searcher, you could go in and say, in natural language, I'm looking for a job in this industry, in these locations. Can you come up with a effective job strategy for me? Incorporating in networking, this, that, and the other, right? So the better you're asking, the better output. That's going to start happening. And then automation to back it up, good or bad. It's going to start reaching out. It's going to start making connections for you in that industry. It's going to say, hey, you should talk to Bob because Bob does this, this, and this, and you both go to the same church, whatever it is. It's going to start targeting that for that individual. And of course, that individual will be premium. It won't be non-premium. But that's the big thing is this agent process is coming in. Copilot is going to be a piece of that. So if you don't know Copilot, probably a good time to start looking at it, kind of understanding it as a AI search tool. I noticed somebody said down below that Copilot looked like somebody's less smart little brother, right?
Yeah.
I'm not going to use the words they used.
That.
They were a little rough, but I think it does need some work. But it is going to get incorporated into LinkedIn because who owns LinkedIn?
Yeah.
Copilot's dad and mom, right? So that's coming, like it or not. And I think there could be some great things that come from it, but it is going to be put into premium. I mean, it's a no-brainer in that sense. They want to get more value out of that product line.
I like it. And any predictions? That was
my big prediction.
Okay.
Now, what I hope they fix is, first off, is messaging. Put tabs in there. Let us break it up. Let us set rules like we do in Microsoft, right? If it comes in this, put it over here. If it comes in there, put it over there, right?
That would be nice.
Automate this response if it's that.
Right.
Those kind of things we need in messaging, with the ability to set our own tabs, just like we can in Microsoft. That to me would be cool. The other thing is they've got to fix service provider. It was a system that was really, really effective, and people, especially in transition, that went out and started their own kind of business while they were in transition, got a lot from it. Now, there were people who cheated that system and used automation to, respond to all the applications. But instead of fighting the automation, which they didn't know how to do, they basically created a system now that is not sustainable for anybody to use. And that's a real shame. And even the people who are requesting things are frustrated because they're getting 10 replies back. Nobody needs 10. Here's how I can do it better than you. It's too much. 3 is good. I can sort 3. I can't sort 10. And so they even broke it for the people that need it, in the sense of needing services and help. So that's one thing I hope they fix, because it has so much potential to help so many people, and it used to do that.
I like that. I like that. Okay, so I'll close out with mine. Okay, so my wish list is that with the with a huge emphasis on AI, I would really wish that LinkedIn would allow us to have things that still make us natural human beings.
Mhm.
And therefore, I think having the ability to send that personal note when you send someone a connection request, I think that should be available to everybody. And I think it should be available in groups. I don't think there should be a limit in groups. You do it 10, you're out for the month. I don't think it should be a limit anywhere, because to me, it's etiquette. It's just etiquette. I would not just call you. I would, whatever. It just makes sense to allow us to be human beings and reach out with somebody and say, hey, I saw you're an editor. I'd like to learn about that, or, whatever. So
They
that would
want
be
us to do that in the comments.
yeah, you can.
And that's a good place to do it, right? If you're building a
and-
relationship, build it in the comments.
Yeah.
Interact. And I always do this. I do 6 points of positive contact. If
Yeah.
we go back and forth 6, 7 times, I'm going to probably reach out to you, or you're going to probably reach out to me. Although, ask Meryl today, we've been back and forth with each other for like 5 years, and we didn't realize we're not actually connected. I told him we were connected, just not officially on LinkedIn.
Exactly.
So there is connection and connected, right?
That's true.
2 different things.
Right.
He's a number now, but he's also a connection. Always has been.
Nice.
That's
And
how
then my prediction would be, I think the thing I have not seen LinkedIn do is I have not seen AI generated video. And I'm surprised that LinkedIn has not kind of thought about this. And so my prediction is that AI generated video coming, I've used Sora before, where you're actually using natural language, where you're just like, okay, make a video where, Kevin's wearing a Christmas hat and he like dances with a cat, or, something like that. I
didn't
type
like
it
that
in.
video.
What?
I didn't like that video.
but the thing is that I could see having AI generated videos with maybe our LinkedIn profile picture and allowing us to, put that as a cover video and bring that back again. Because I understand people might not want to take recorded videos, but maybe we'd want to put an automated generated video that says, hey, I'm open for work. And then that shows up on your profile or something like that. So my prediction would be, I think we're going to see AI generated video coming somehow to LinkedIn, that we can create it. And I bet you dollars to donuts, it'll be a premium feature.
No doubt.
Time will tell.
I will tell. So we are at the 1 hour limit. So I'm just going to go ahead, and if everybody's good, I'll close out the show. Know that we will, if we did not get to your comment live today, we will go through the comments and we will answer those. And we wish everybody a happy holidays. And, I hope you'll join us back here for another LinkedIn review. And by the way, just want to put a plug for Kevin's article that he did today. And I'm going to go ahead and put that in the comments, that you kind of wrote your predictions, and everybody should be following Kevin's new feature newsletter. So I'm going to put that in the comments as well. And also too, you should be following Debbie, and you should be following Jeff. You could follow me.
And
That would be
Gillian,
nice too.
follow Gillian.
That would be nice too. That would be nice too.
Don't forget Gillian.
Okay. So with that, adieu to you and you and you, and we will see you all again soon. Bye-bye.